There are so many things that people are arguing about today. Arguing about politics, religion, sports. It's just always something. But it really doesn't matter because there are only three big things that really matter in this world. And we're going to look at those today on my Hello, my name is Mike Gray, and thank you for watching. This week I want to talk about a verse that's in 1 Corinthians. It's really interesting because when we start in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and going through verses 30 and 31, it says, "Do all possess gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? But earnestly desire the higher gifts, and I will show you a still more excellent way." See, the church in Corinth, they were arguing. They were arguing over who had the best gifts. I can prophesy. Well, I can interpret. Well, I can speak in tongues. And they were arguing over who was the best. And it was really silly because it really didn't matter. Paul, in writing to him, says, I want to show you something that's even better, a more excellent way than worrying about gifts. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13, he enumerates these three. He says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide." These three, but the greatest of these is love. Now, when he says that faith, hope, and love abide, what he's saying is all of these gifts are going to die out. All these things that you're worried about don't matter. There are only three things that matter in this world that will abide and stay with you, and that's faith, hope, and love. Let's talk about those three today. You see, faith is that belief in Jesus Christ, but not just a belief. I mean, we're told that even the devil and his angels believe and they shudder at his name. It's more than that. To have faith in somebody is to trust in them, to know that they have your best will at heart, that they are going to take care of you, and that you can believe what they tell you. You see, faith is not believing in God. Faith is believing God. And that belief will then motivate us to action. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, it says, "And without faith, it's impossible to please him. For whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who seek him." That's what it's all about. It's putting our trust in God and believing him, and be willing to follow him and be obedient. And when that happens, he rewards us. And that brings us to the next one, and that's hope. Hope is that confident expectation of heaven, of our salvation, because it has been promised by God, because of our faith, because we are told that he will forgive us. We have that faith, we have that hope of eternal salvation. In Romans chapter 8, verses 23 through 25, it says, "And not only the creation, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved." Now, hope that is seen is not hope. For who hopes for what he sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Hope is in that eternal salvation, in going to heaven, the redemption of our bodies. But it's not a hope that is seen. We're told that we don't know what we're going to become. We don't know what heaven looks like. We've had it described to us in physical terms, but it's a spiritual event. It's a spiritual realm. We don't really know what that's going to look like. So we've never seen it. So we hope to see it. And that hope is not a wish we could see it. I really hope I get to see it. No, it's a confident expectation that we're going to get to see it. If we have faith, if we believe in Jesus Christ and we follow his teachings, then we have hope of eternal salvation. But here's where it gets really interesting. The third one is the most important one of all. He says, "If faith, hope, and love abide, The greatest of these is love. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 through 40, the teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And he said unto him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. It was everything that is put in place to please God is based around two things: loving God and loving each other. If we love God, we're going to keep his commandments. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. But we're also told to love our neighbor. And he said, it's like the first. It's just as important as the first. And that's to love each other, to help each other, care for each other. Don't judge each other. Do what we can to help each other achieve that hope, that faith, and that hope. Do what we can to help each other achieve that faith and that hope that leads to eternal salvation. But why is this one so much more important than faith and hope? Well, we find that answer back in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in the first 3 verses. Paul wrote, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but I have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and I have all faith as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all that I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. See, that should scare us. Because if we are judging people, if we are looking down on people, if we are not showing true love to those around us that we meet, then it doesn't matter how much faith in God that we have and how much we keep his commandments diligently. It doesn't matter how much hope we think we have to get to heaven. Because if we don't have love, we get nothing. We are nothing. You see, the motivation is the key. We have to love God and love each other. We're also told, how can you love God who you cannot see and not love your brother who you can see? See, love is the most important of the big 3. But when we have love and we have faith and we have hope, we have a better way. We have a more excellent way. We have Jesus Christ in our hearts. Thank you for watching. Glorify thy name.